The second part of God's rescue plan grafted us on. Adopted us into God's family. We are brothers and sisters of Christ through that adoption. The law here is seen as a guardian, a guide, a tutor, perhaps, is one way of thinking of it. Something set in place to help us understand our need for God. And that was fulfilled when Christ came, when God came in the flesh. And I want to use a metaphor here. I know it's not a complete metaphor, none ever are, and I know that I have limitations in my understanding, but here's my understanding. When you have the need for a heart transplant, there is preparation time. A heart is given from a donor, and you spend the rest of your life taking anti-rejection medication in order to keep that new heart, to keep it functioning, to keep your body from rejecting it. So think of this sense of a heart transplant. That hardened heart, that heart of stone, is being replaced by God through Christ's actions. I know we have the phrase that says sometimes, let Christ into your heart, but it's more than that. Let Christ replace your heart with his. I have a clip that I'd like to share that shows that sense of a heart for Christ, but also shows that, I'm going to say, sense of rejection that can come too. It's this back and forth constantly. Let's go ahead and watch this.
You know, I have this urgency in me. I'm feeling in my heart now. I really want to know God. And I want to know why he knows me. And I don't know, what can I do? Is there something I can do?
Well, that's God's Spirit in you. Tell you what. You tell the first 3 friends you see today what you did. Tell them you gave your life to Jesus. Now, that's a challenge.
But not.
Just do it. There's a little Bible somebody gave me a long, long time ago. You'll like it.
I've set the guys to the bank for some money, but I'm going to come back this afternoon.
Hey, Angus. Angus. What's up, bud? You look like that warmed up. What's wrong? You haven't been taking those happy pills, have you?
No, of course there's something I'm going to tell you.
On your luck. Where's this off duty? I'll buy the drinks, you do the talking. Okay. Go. Hey, Bucky. Don't do something serious, man. You look like the Springboks just lost against the All Blacks. Even worse, against the English. I'll get them to shoot.
I made a decision yesterday to give my whole life, my family and my farm to Jesus.
Awesome, Bucky. Almost had me there for a second. You shouldn't joke about these things, you know.
No, of course, really, I'm being serious. So God just took me by the throat and shook me until I listened.
You're not going to turn on the deal on me, are you? It's just another one bites the dust.
The movie is Faith Like Potatoes, and it's the story of a South African farmer. It's based on a true story of a man who was pushed to his edge, who had a terribly hardened heart, showed in many ways, and who experienced the love of Christ, and who let his heart be replaced But did you notice his reaction when the pastor said that he needed to tell 3 friends? He said, they'll think I'm a nutter. It's South African. I had a hard time with the accents when I first listened to it. And then what did he do? What did you see him do as he was walking across the street and onto the sidewalk? Tried to avoid him. Tried to avoid the first friend he saw. Did he want to tell him? Not really. He kind of got forced into it. There's that sense of, I'm all excited, what can I do, what can I do? I don't want to do that. That's that sense I think of as rejection. Listen and see what you think as you listen to the risks of the rejection of a donor heart from the Mayo Clinic website. Although receiving a donor heart can save your life, having a heart transplant has many risks. The most significant risk is your body rejecting the donor heart. Your immune system will see your donor heart as a foreign object that's not supposed to be in your body. Your immune system will try to attack your donor heart. Although all people who receive a heart transplant receive immunosuppressants, medications that reduce the activity of the immune system, nearly 25% of heart transplant recipients still have some signs of rejection during the first year after transplantation. Usually the rejection is without any symptoms and requires only an adjustment of medications. If you miss doses of medications, however, the rejection can be very severe and serious. So just as a human heart transplant patient needs to guard continually against rejection of the donor heart, we need to guard against rejection of our circumcised hearts, our hearts of flesh, the new hearts given to us by God. What are the ways we do this? Yes, this is congregational participation. How do we guard against, what are the immunosuppressants in our life that help us to guard against rejection of the heart Christ gives us? Fellowship with other Christians. The Mayo Clinic site talked about support of friends and family.
Stay in the Bible.
Bible, read, prayer. Do we do all these things? We are like Angus Buchan, the man in the video. We have the desire, something happens. We're afraid. Do we want to reject the heart that God gives us? Do we want to reject the heart that God gives us? No. If you say it, act as though you mean it. If I say it, act as though I mean it. I'm not just speaking to you and not to myself. Hadn't thought about this being a Valentine's Day sermon. After I did, I thought about the Grinch who had the heart that was several sizes too small. But this is a serious matter. So may we not hold on to our hardened hearts. May we not reject the heart that God gives us. May we hear God's voice. May we listen to the Holy Spirit. I would say that that's another way that we can guard against rejection. Allowing the Spirit of the Son of God to intervene in our hearts, in our lives. For it is the Spirit that can suppress our inclination to reject that gift of God. May it be so. Let's join in singing our closing hymn, number 390.